Guys, in case you're new to this channel, my name is Hamad Benaisha. I'm the founder of undoit.ca. In this channel, I talk about MacBooks repairs, everything to do with MacBooks. I'm located in Toronto, Canada, downtown next to the CN Tower, and I have been in the business for over 20 years. I'm also an Apple certified technician, and I only fix MacBooks, nothing else. So if you haven't done it yet, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.
Well, hi guys, I'm petit bonjour, comme d'habitude à nos amis francophones. Today we're gonna work on a MacBook Pro 2011, 15-inch, excellent model. This machine has nothing wrong with it. All it needs is a new keyboard. So I'm gonna show you how to replace a keyboard on a MacBook Pro 2011, 15-inch. It's fairly easy. If you follow the steps, nothing should go wrong and everything should be easy. The first thing you always want to do is remove the battery. Okay, as soon as you remove the back cover, don't do anything until you remove the battery first. Okay, it's very easy. It clips. Once it's off, nothing can go wrong. If I draw my screwdriver here, there could be no issues. Before you uninstall the keyboard, what you want to do, you want to always test the keyboard that you have, the replacement keyboard that you have, because you don't want to go through all the motion just to realize one of the keys not working, which is very common. So this is a brand new keyboard. Sometimes, even though it's brand new out of the box, sometimes the shift key doesn't work, maybe the S key doesn't work. It happens. Okay, so in order to save time and not, the headaches, we test the keyboard first. The easy way to do it, just remove the old keyboard, unplug the old keyboard, I should say. So this is where it is. Okay, keep this safe because you'll need it after. Okay. So that's the trackpad. Okay, it came out. And that's the keyboard over here. So all you do is just unplug it. Okay, you might want to use some tape just so it doesn't get in the way. The old one doesn't get in the way and it start bugging you. There you go. And then what you do, you take the new one, you plug it in temporarily, like over here. So take your time. There you go. Voila. Okay, once in, put the clip. And then what you want to also do, just a little bit of tape at the edges over here, underneath, like that. Just a little bit. There you go. So it's a bit easier to test it. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, put the power back in, put everything that could potentially create a hazard or could cause a short circuit, metal, anything, put everything away. Okay, then plug in the power, the battery. So now first thing we want to test on this machine is the power button. The power button is here. It's part of the keyboard, so you want to test it. Make sure the machine turns on. So I'm going to press the power and see if the fan goes on. There you go. So the power button is good, which is good. Okay, now next what you want to do is totally normal. We shut down the first time on this model anyway. Don't be alert. 2011 always does that. So turn it on again. Now it's going to go all the way. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to hold it like that. I'm gonna go log into like I would normally to the Mac OS. Okay, and then I will go open either Notes or Microsoft Word, anything where I can write. I'm gonna start to test every keys, and I mean every single keys. Okay, even the up and down, the excuse me, the brightness, escape button, the volume. Okay, and once I know all the keys are good, the space bar, the shift, both shifts. Okay, when I know that every single key is good, I come back and then we're gonna start removing the old keyboard. Okay, I'm just gonna pause for 1 second because I need for privacy. This is an actual client, so I don't want to show the ID and the password of the person. So yeah, so as soon as I test the keyboard, that's how you do it. Okay, you just plug it in like that. You log in as you would normally, holding it like that, and test the keyboard. Once I know it's good, I come back and then we'll start removing the old one. Okay, so I'm gonna pause for 1 second, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I tested all the keys, everything is good. So now I can go ahead and proceed and remove the old keyboard. So I'm gonna, first thing again, unplug the battery. Now I can start removing the old the new keyboard. So I'm just gonna unplug it. Okay, I'll just put it away for now. Okay, now you can go ahead and proceed. So I'm just gonna remove the trackpad, the battery indicator, that's for the hard drive, speaker, the CD-ROM, that's for the Wi-Fi card. Okay, now be very gentle with the, when you remove the camera. Common mistake, that's where a lot of people make a mistake. They pull on it like that, and guess what? After that, it gets ripped and it no longer detects the camera. If that happened to you, unfortunately, there is nothing you can do. You have to remove the LCD, you have to remove the glass. Anyway, it's a huge production, and you gotta replace the whole cable. There is no fixing that cable. So take your time. You can mess up anything, but don't mess up this one over here, okay? Everything else is easier or easy to fix, but the camera is a nightmare. Can it be fixed? Yes, but then you might need somebody like me. So use a toothpick or use anything that's not gonna scratch the board until it becomes a bit loose. And then you can pull on it. There you go. Okay, that's how you, okay? And do you know what? I gotta confess, one time I was so busy, I pulled on one of them and actually screwed up myself. Anyway, I ended up having to remove the glass, and so now I take my time, okay? Live and learn. So don't let that happen to you. And even though I've been doing it for 23 years, sometimes so busy that just, you know, try to rush a little, but there's no rushing in this this business. Okay, so now we remove the, this is the cable for the keyboard backlight. Now I'm gonna gently remove, so I go underneath and I gently remove the fan. Okay, that's also happens. You see, they have a video, but people ripping the fan, so they go like this and they knock this out, the connector. Can it be fixed? Of course it can be fixed, but it's not easy. Okay, especially if the pads underneath comes out, so then we have to jump wire from here. So don't let that happen to you. So again, you can use something, go underneath, okay, or even a toothpick. I use this, but I'm very careful not to scratch the board. So again, that's what I do for a living. So I'm very careful not to scratch the board. So don't do what I do, use a toothpick. Anything that's wood cannot scratch the board. It's impossible. Okay. So you go underneath, gently, and pull on it. Okay, clean. Okay, now the last, well, the last, but the LCD, again, same thing. So gentle, take your time. Again, if it doesn't come out easily, take your time. And use your fingers to jiggle it on both sides until it comes out nice and clean. And when you put it back, same thing, be gentle. Make sure it's nice and flat. Okay, I'm just giving you tips because people sometimes, clients, it's not completely flat and they keep pushing, and guess what happened? They break the LCD connector. Okay, or one of the pins get bent and then it short circuit something here. You don't want that to happen to you either. Okay, so I'm just giving you tips and not trying to scare you. It's an easy job, very easy. This is really easy job if it's done properly, that's all. And to do it properly, you need to take your time. So when you put back the LCD later, make sure it's nice and flat like that before you put it in, and it should go easily in, see? Do not force anything. Okay, so what's next? Okay, so all the cables are unplugged. Now what we're gonna do, we can remove the RAM. Okay, you don't have to, but it's a good idea. And now we're gonna proceed with the screws. Okay, so the beauty of these is the screws on the board are all the same size, okay, including the fan. So even if you mix them up, no big deal. That's used to be easy, but Apple decided to change the screws, all different shapes with the models, with the newer models. So, but in any case, in this one, it's straightforward. So we're gonna remove the fan. remove the second fan. Okay, let me make sure you can see everything on the camera here. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, so the second fan is out. Okay, next we're gonna remove the board now. Okay, while I'm doing that, just want to mention something. If you are located anywhere in Canada and you have a MacBook issue, whether this model or newer model, it doesn't matter whether it's liquid damage, it doesn't turn on, anything to do with MacBooks, that's all I do, MacBooks. Make sure to visit undoit.ca or call me, or there is a mailing that you can see how to mail it in, doesn't matter where you are in Canada. If you watch the end of this video, you'll see it, see the instruction on how to mail it in. Okay, so now this is how you remove the board. Sorry, I was like distracted with my microphone there. So once you remove all the screws, you remove the board. The board should come gently, so with one pressure, one finger. Do not force anything. If it doesn't come out with one finger, there's something still hooked up. Sometimes it's the speaker over here. There's glue underneath the microphone over here. So sometimes it's a bit hard. So don't be surprised if it's a bit hard, but make sure there is nothing connected anymore. You don't want to have something connected like the camera and you're still pulling on it. Okay, so make sure there's nothing connected, and if it's a bit hard to come out, it's totally normal, because usually the microphone has glue on it and it doesn't come out. It doesn't come out easily. Okay, but once it's out, it's out. So I'm gonna put it back. That's where it goes. That's the usually it always comes out anyway for this model. Okay, that's where it goes, and then put it back in the socket. Okay, so it's good. So now what you do, you put this away. Make sure that you put it somewhere where it's safe. There is no liquid damage on possible on the no liquid on the table or whatever you're gonna put it in. Okay, and make sure there's no way it's gonna fall down or it's gonna get scratched. Okay, you don't want, because now we know this works. We don't want to end up with another issue. All we want to do is just replace the keyboard. So I just put it somewhere safe. I'll get back to it after. Okay, now so that was part number one. Part number two, what we're gonna remove next, we gotta remove the CD-ROM. Okay, actually we're gonna have to remove the Wi-Fi card first to access the screw over here, which is underneath. So very easy, only two screws, 1, 2. Okay, remember one is longer than the other. Okay, so that's the longer one. Okay, now put it aside like that. And then you want to remove this one over here. Make sure you can see that on the camera here. Yes, you do. Okay. Okay, that's it. And take this off. Okay, put it aside like that. Okay, now we can remove the CD-ROM. So there's 3 screws, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so put them together, keep them together. So put it back after, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, perfect. Then lift it up. Okay, make sure when you put it back the CD-ROM cable, because it's removable, make sure it's not loose. Okay, so put this aside, and then we move on to remove this bar over here. So it's only 2 screws. One is longer than the other. Okay, there's one longer than the other. Okay. Remove this. Okay, now next we're gonna remove that's the trackpad cable. Very common. There is a what would you call the double tip underneath. Often people pull on it and they break it, and it gonna happen to me too when I was a newbie. So don't let that happen to you, especially if you don't have a replacement. I do have a whole bunch of replacement, so it's not a big deal. Okay, see, there is double tape. Okay, now what we might want to do here, we might want to remove the, okay, let me see if I can make it a little bit easier. The power button. Okay, let's see. I think that's the power button here. So no, don't lose those two screws. Those two screws are very, very small and it's almost impossible to find. So you don't want to lose those two, okay? You're gonna need them after. So that's the power button. The power button, as I mentioned, is part of the keyboard. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna push it a little bit and it's gonna come out. And there is tape over here, okay? Double tape. So it comes out. There is two parts underneath. You don't want to lose them. So gently, I mean, the keyboard is gonna be replaced anyway. It's not a big deal, even if you rip it. Keep those two parts. You're gonna need them. We're gonna need them after. Okay, they don't come with the keyboard. Okay, I'll show you how to put them back. It's easy. Okay, so now all we got left to do, we're gonna remove this sheet over here. That's actually the backlight for the keyboard. That's what light up the keyboard. So we're gonna reuse it because it doesn't come with a new keyboard. So take your time. There's two parts of it. This part over here, and there's this part underneath. So okay, now sometime, don't be surprised when you take it out like that. Sometimes one of the parts over here gets stuck in here. So take your time, gently to lift it. Okay. I mean, even if it gets ripped, it's not the end of the world. It still works. So the hardest part is over here. There's double tape. So take your time. As you pull, there you go. Okay, so that's the backlight. Okay, so put it aside. We're gonna need it. Now, as you can see, it's pretty dusty. So I'm gonna dust it, and then we'll proceed and remove the screws from the keyboard. Okay, so now all we have to do is remove all those screws over here. And the beauty of these models, unlike the new models that have rivets, Apple making it impossible for us, but we still manage. This one you can easily replace the keyboard. Okay, anybody can do it really if they follow the video and take their time. It's not that difficult really. Okay, so what I like to do, I like to use a magnet, put it on my screwdriver so I don't lose those screws. And I go like this, and then I put it here to make it easy or faster. Otherwise I go put it there one at a time. Okay, so again, it's a business. I'm not doing it as a hobby, so I gotta move fast. Do the job properly and as fast as possible. But again, fast comes with the experience. Not always the best thing to do, but a keyboard like that, it's not a big deal. I mean, you know, there's not much you can do wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna go like this, and then I go in the middle. Once we remove the keyboard, I'm gonna show you, let's say if a keyboard was liquid damaged with what you should do before you put the new keyboard, how to clean it, how to clean the frame, because if you don't, and there is, let's say, orange juice or, you know, things with sugar on it, well, guess what? The new keyboard, some of the keys, when you push them, they're not gonna bounce back because they're glued. Not glued, but they are, sorry, the sugar, the residue of the sugar will prevent the key to bounce back properly. So I will show you how to clean it. And again, this is a 2011 model. Okay, the 2011 model, excellent model. They have only one issue is with the GPU, and I have a video about that on how to fix it. GPU is a graphic processing unit, which is a fancy word for a video card. So if you look for my video called, actually I'll put it on the screen right now. You can click on it and this is how you fix it. That's the only problem this model has, okay? The keyboard is totally unrelated. That's because somebody spilled liquid, like tiny bit of liquid on the keyboard. It was water, okay? Yeah, so that's the only problem this model has. If it can be fixed, permanent fix. And also, as you know, this hard drive is the original hard drive, as you can see. If this person was to upgrade to an SSD hard drive, this machine will become like 10-20 times faster, like super fast. The only downside about upgrading this model is that 2011 can support only up to High Sierra. So if you need the latest Mac OS, that's not it's not really worth upgrading. But High Sierra is still pretty good, and still people are, you know, because it's such a reliable computer, MacBook. I mean, you know, a lot of people do decide to upgrade the hard drive and keep it for as long as possible. They are really good machines, actually very, very good. If it was not for the only problem they have, like the GPU, but again, that's fixable, so it's not a big deal. So keep going, removing these screws. The good thing about YouTube is that I get emails and questions from people from all over the world. So now, since we are doing this, I just want to mention, as you probably know already at the beginning of the video, that I'm located in Toronto, Canada. Beautiful city, great country, one of the best countries in the world, actually, if not the best. I love this country. I've been here, living in this country for, I'm not originally here, as you can see probably from my accent. Been living here for the last 27 years. Love this country dearly. I owe a lot of it to this country. Love it. So if you are from anywhere in the world and you hear this and you're thinking of visiting Canada, by all means, don't even think about it twice. Come visit this country. Oh, my phone is ringing. What is it? Okay. Call you back. So yeah, Canada, beautiful country. People of Canada, beautiful people. And Toronto, wonderful city. Living here for 27 years. I'm right downtown, next to the CN Tower. Wonderful, wonderful city. So if you haven't never visited Toronto, make sure to put that on your bucket list, because you will not regret it. Summertime especially. Okay, so we're almost done removing this keyboard. And then we'll put in a new keyboard, and we reverse pretty much what we did. And then put back the, you know, everything back. So this is not really, like I said, a difficult job. I wish they were all that easy. Make my life so much easier. Excuse me. I've been finding this code for the last few days. Sorry about that. Okay. I think we're on the last row. There you go. That's it. So that's how it comes out. See? Simple. Oops. Pretty dusty though. Okay, so put that aside. Okay, now this is what I'm referring to, as you can see over here. Let's say if there was liquid damage with glue, with sugar in it, like orange juice or anything like that. In this case, it was only a drop of water, but damaged your keyboard. There will be residue left inside the frame, like over here, see? And then what happened when you put in your keyboard, let's say if there was some sugar here, and when you press that key, it will not bounce back, okay? It would be difficult to bounce back. So you might want to clean the keyboard first, the frame of the keyboard first. So how do you do that? Well, it's straightforward, really. There's nothing magical about it. Okay, first of all, you might want to dust it. So I'm gonna dust it, and then okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so yeah. So what you want to do, you want to use some Windex maybe and a cloth. Okay, that's it. That's all you need. So let me grab some Windex, because the Windex will get rid of the sugar. Okay, but make sure if you do that there is no touching anything electronics. Okay, so like right here, it's only a piece of metal, aluminum, so there is nothing that can go wrong as long as we don't touch anything like this or this. Okay, nothing. Especially if it was alcohol, it doesn't matter. You can touch electronics, no big deal. But if you use anything else like Windex on a piece of cloth, if you do it, actually put directly on the cloth. Okay, not on the screen, not on the anywhere. Matter of fact. Okay, and then you can go like that inside. Okay, so you go like this until you see there is nothing left. So take your time, do is where you see the liquid was. And an easy way to tell usually what the liquid was is when you look at the keyboard, especially if it was liquid damage with coffee or anything that's stained, you know the area the keyboard was damaged. Okay, so you'll see that area you need to clean. This area will be nice and clean like it is now. So yeah, those are just tips. Okay, I'm just things that I'm giving you. Tips, because things that we learn as we fix things, and then feedback we get from clients, and we learn from it. So I'm just giving you all the advice possible, so that way you don't have to go through all the motion. Because imagine if you put the keyboard and then you close it, and then you realize that one of the keys is sticky. Well, guess what? You have to remove everything if you're going to do it properly. Because if you try to take a shortcut, well, that's when problem happens. Okay, so this is nice and clean. So what you're going to do, now we have to look on the other side, because that's great, that's clean on this side, but what about the other side? Okay, so now we have to, while the keyboard is out and there is no, see, it's pretty dirty. So might as well clean it now. Okay, and again, like I said, because there is the board is out, there is no electronics, it's the perfect time to do that. And also when you do that, you can also look at if you see anything, any residue of anything, clean it. Okay, we're almost done. Okay, try not to touch anything around the trackpad, okay, especially with the Windex. If a drop goes in there, well, guess what, the trackpad is gonna act weird, you're gonna start to jump all over the place. So only where there is no electronics, like over here, okay? If you need to clean this area over here, use alcohol. Anything with electronics nearby, alcohol, no Windex. Okay. The Windex is good because it gets rid of sugar and stuff like this, but be careful where you use it. Okay. Okay. So. Okay. And make sure there is nothing left. It's nice and dried. And now we can put in the new keyboard. Okay. So. I'm going to open it like that. You know why I'm opening it like that? Because I don't want anything fixing the LCD. If it's closed and the LCD is here, something goes in there and you scratch the LCD or you damage the LCD. When it's open like that, okay, it's safer. Okay, so I got the new keyboard here. Okay, I'm going to put it in. Voila. Okay, now here's another tip. I hope you're watching this video because you can learn a lot. Okay, now before you remove, go ahead and remove the keyboard. Always look at the. Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm just gonna take this call. Okay, so I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay, so what was I? So I think I was talking about giving another tip. Okay, so before you remove your keyboard, okay. Make sure it is the same layout. Okay, layout. Okay, that's the old one. Okay, let me show you. And that's the new one. Okay, the layout meaning the return key. Some countries, the return key is actually like that. Okay, and people test the keyboard before replacing it, and then when you go to put it in, well, guess what? The shape of the return key is not the same shape. It's like this, so it's not going to fit. So the mold is not the same. You can press as hard as you want. The mold is not the same, so it's not going to fit. So the first thing you want to do before you replace the keyboard is make sure it's the same layout. Okay, if it is, go ahead. If it's not, make sure you get the right layout. One more thing, if you have a 2012, 2013, when you test the keyboard, make sure you test the option keys. Sorry, not the option. The function keys over here. Because when you press, sometimes the exclamation mark or the @ or these different symbols from the 2013, 2012, and 2013 models. Okay, 2011 there is no issues. So just remember that. Okay, so that's why I'm hoping that you actually watch the whole video so you will learn at least this. Okay, so now put in the keyboard. So I'm gonna put a couple of screws so it stays secured. And then we're going to put the power button. Okay, so what I like to do the corners first. There you go. And then I'm going to show another trick, another tip. Once you have some screws, before you do all of them, what we need to test. So I'm gonna do 4 there, like that for now. Maybe I'm gonna do a couple in the middle to secure it. Okay, so what we need to do now, we need to put back the power button. So the power button, take your time. You don't want to rip this cable, because if you do, you need a new keyboard. There's no other way around. There's no fixing that. Before you put that, we need to put back the power button. Okay, it's only plastic. There is no, okay, just put it in the slot there. It should fit properly. Easily. There you go. Okay. Again, if there was liquid damage on there, say sugar or orange juice or anything, clean it first before you put it. Okay. Otherwise, the point. It's gonna get stuck again. Put back the spring there. Okay. It's like a spring. I think that's what it is, because it looks like it. Not really. Just a circle spring, let's put it this way. Okay, so now the power button. So the power button goes underneath here. Okay. Again, take your time. Something is blocking it or anything like that. There you go. So now what I do, I use a tweezer and I go like this so it sits properly, because it needs to go underneath. So go like that. It's very easy actually. Okay. There you go. That's it. Now we put back the other 2 screws, which I hope you still have, because those screws are not easy to find. Okay, one, and I put the second one. I don't tie them up all the way until I put the second one. Then I tie it up. Okay, now what you want to do, you want to test. Press the power button, make sure it bounces back like a spring. It has to, look. You hear that? Perfect. Okay, now what you can do, I'm gonna put a couple more screws. Then we're gonna flip the keyboard, not flip the keyboard, but flip the machine, and we're gonna test each key, make sure they all bounce back. Because if it's not aligned properly, or there is still some residue left from the old liquid damage, in this case there is not because it was water. But you don't want to find out until you put all those screws. I don't know how many it is. It's a lot. So what you want to do, you want to go like that, and then you want to test the keys gently. Yeah. Okay. Still not obviously secured, but it's bouncing back. Okay. So now we can go ahead, put all the screws, and then before we put the board back, we're gonna give it one more try. Meaning we're gonna press all the keys again. So now we do the reverse. So what you want to do sometimes is put a couple of screws, not just go like a robot like that, but put one here, put one there, until you see that's all nice and flat. Then you can go ahead, because if you put too many in there, you could lift on this side. Okay, it might not be aligned. So try to do first, mix it up a little bit. And again, this is 23 years experience. Okay, so see over here too. There you go. Voilà. By the way, I speak French, I'm born in France. Donc si vous parlez français, vous avez un problème, il n'y a pas de problème, vous pouvez me contacter, parler en français. And also, I have Algerian. I spent 13 years in Algeria. My father is Algerian. أصحاب باتنا أنا من أهل باتنا. مرحبا بكم. السلام عليكم. إن شاء الله أصحاب عقال. إن شاء الله واحد فيكم يتفرج هذا ويبعث الفيديو لأصحابه وإن شاء الله نتلاقوا في ساعة الخير إن شاء الله. Okay, so now we're gonna do the same thing again. There you go. See? Yes, nice. Okay, now we can finish all the screws. Let's do that. Then it's easy. Okay, now it doesn't matter, you can go like that if you want. It's all good. Nice and secured, nice and aligned. I mean, it will take a lot not to align it properly, so don't worry about it too much. It's just, I'm just giving you tips. Okay, so now I think I'm gonna speed up the video. I'm not gonna pause it, I'm just gonna speed it up. I'm gonna go fast, you're gonna see how fast I can work. Just joking. I'm gonna speed it up, and then that way you don't just looking at something that's really straightforward. Okay, so then I'll put it back to regular speed once I finish all the screws. Okay, so I'm back to regular speed. Okay, now we did the button, power button is secure. We secure the keyboard. Let's take a look at one more time. Now we can press each key like that. There you go. Beautiful. Everything is bouncing back. So we can close the job. So we're gonna do now, we're gonna put back the sheet, the backlight sheet over here. Okay, so here you go. Wrong way. There you go. Voila. Put it over here. Next, we're gonna put this. If I can find where I put it. So I was doing too many things at once. There it is. So an easy way to find out which way it goes, the shape over here is the shape for the fan over here. See, that's where it will go. So you cannot mix it up. Okay, so you just need to sit properly. There you go. Some of them have actually like a pin underneath. Some do. Some models anyway. It's hard to remember each models. There's so many models. Okay, now the screws. Okay. To remember, there's a large one and a short one. So the short one goes here, and the large one goes there. The long one, I should say. Okay, make sure you tidy it up securely. Okay. Next, what we want to do, we want to put the CD-ROM. So again, remember this cable is nice and tight, and it goes like this. Okay. So, and there's only 3 screws. Okay. Take your time. I don't know, I keep saying that. I can't help it. I'm sorry. But you need to take your time. That's the secret of this job. It's a lot to know. And sometimes as human beings we're forgetful. So if you take your time, you can always go back and fix it. Okay, so don't completely tie them up until they're all in. Then you can go ahead. Okay, now I'm gonna tie them up. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now we're gonna put back the which may call the Wi-Fi card. So you need to put this first. If you can see, sorry, sometimes I don't even pay attention to my camera. Okay, yeah. So put this first. So move this a little bit. Remember, this is gonna go on top of it. So we need to secure it. So take 1 screw. It's a Phillips. Okay. There you go. Now I'm gonna secure that. Perfect. Now we put this back. It goes a little bit underneath like that. See, there's this over here. Easy wheezy. Okay. Again, the long screw in here, the short over here. So voila. Okay, now what's left to do? Put the board and the fan and you're done. So put this trackpad back like this, cable trackpad like this. Okay, and then we're gonna put in the board. Okay, now here's a trick about the board. Okay, so the connector needs to go over here before the board goes in. It may look difficult, but it's not. Trust me, this is an easy model. And then you put it like that, gently. Okay. Make sure your microphone is still plugged in. Okay, because it may have came out. And then go gently pushing in like that. And then you're gonna make sure all the cables are out. Oops, sorry about that. I should hit with my head. So the camera, the trackpad, the battery indicator, trackpad. We need the CD-ROM out, the backlight for the keyboard. Okay, so make sure all the cables are out, and then we put a couple of screws. So I'm gonna put a couple of screws. I need my magnet. There you go. One here, one here. Okay, now we put all the cables. Okay, now for the keyboard, because it's new, it's not very, so sometimes it's a bit difficult. Take your time again, because here's a problem, common problem. People force it. You see the flex cable over here get bent over here, and then some keys don't work. So be careful. Take your time. What I do, I like to push it like that to hold it, so I can push it with my thumb, and then I go like this. See, it's in, easy. Now I'm gonna put the hard drive, put the speaker, the second speaker, because there's two speakers. There's one here and one underneath where the microphone was. CD-ROM, Wi-Fi, put the camera back. Okay, put the backlight for the keyboard. Now the LCD, like I told you earlier, make sure it's flat. If it is flat, there'll be no problem. Like see, it goes in easily. I'm gonna put the speakers back. Sorry, the fan. 1, 2. There you go. Put the screws. Finish putting the screws. Put the RAM back. Okay. Now, when you put the RAM back, sometimes when you turn on the first time, it goes beep, 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 because it's just dusty. So if that's the case, don't panic. Use some alcohol like that, and then just go like this to clean up. Okay, you might even blow with your mouth on here. Okay, let's go like this. Okay, sometimes just dust. Okay, and it's not detecting one of the pins over here, and it's a thing that is no RAM inside. So don't panic if it happens. It will work again. Okay. So yeah, so then after that, I just put the screws back, and the job is done. The keyboard is replaced. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so. If you're located anywhere in Canada, if you need help, keep watching. In 2 seconds you're going to see the instructions. Thanks for watching, thanks for your time, and if you have any comment, please do so at the bottom. Looking forward to seeing you in my next video. Thank you.
The process is very easy, whether you're located in Toronto or anywhere in Canada. Just visit undoit.ca, click here to get a quote, or you can also click on the menu here, get a free quote. It's the same link. There is 9 different categories, so try to select the one that best apply to you. In this example, I'm just going to click on my screen is black, and let's assume my screen goes black when I tilt it. So you can either get a free quote online, or you can also call if you prefer. For this example, I'm just going to click on get a free quote, fill up the form, and just click on submit form. When you click on submit form, this is what I receive on my end, and as you can see, we do receive a lot of requests. Actually 90% of our business is shipped to us now from all over Canada, so you can rest assured that we know what we're doing. So I read it, analyze it, and then I send an email with a quote with all the options to the client. And if you decide to ship it, you just click here to select your shipping option, and then you'll receive a shipping label. As soon as your MacBook is fixed, you will receive an email with pictures showing your MacBook repaired, your invoice, and how to proceed with the payment by credit card. As soon as the payment is made, we'll send it back to you. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to receiving your MacBook. If you like this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know, share it, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in my next video.